You got to watch this clip of Zach Sage talking to Americans about their view on the American military versus their views of Hamas. Now, let's bear in mind that this is just a few people that you've spoken to, and it doesn't represent all Americans, of course, but it does show the inherent hypocrisy and contradictions and willingness to support barbarity that exists in the anti-Israel community. Not to mention all the ignorance, but have a watch of the clip and then we can unpack it.
I'm Zach Sage Fox, and welcome to a Martyrs Memorial Day. Let's celebrate. Do you have respect for our military, or?
Not really. I think the military is horrible.
The military, no.
Yeah.
Nah, not really.
There's a lot more talk right now about the martyrs of Hamas.
Huge respect for them.
Really? Do you have more respect for them than our own military?
Yes.
Nah, America's mad shitty, honestly.
Do you think that on this Memorial Day, we should also be honoring Hamas?
Of course.
Yeah, definitely.
So we should celebrate the Hamas military too?
Yeah.
The rape that was uncovered on October 7th, they beheaded babies. They GoPro'd a lot of their own murders.
No, that's not true.
No,
Yeah,
I've seen it. Twitter.
Yeah, they did. They will post them chopping the heads off.
Oh, see,
I've seen videos.
I didn't know that.
Do you think we should be celebrating the martyrs of Palestine?
Yes.
Hamas.
Yes.
Show me things that Hamas has said about Jews in their charter. Article 7, the day of judgment will not come until Muslims fight the Jews, killing the Jews. All Jews everywhere must die. Does that change your thoughts a little bit?
Oh, no, honestly.
Wow.
You know,
As a
lot of
Jew,
it-
that's upsetting.
I can't speak for Hamas.
No, what I just showed you, that's Hamas speaking for Hamas.
Wasn't it their land first? I don't know. I don't know the history on it personally. Don't want to do this interview anymore. I feel like I've proven my point enough.
Well, you just said you didn't know anything. People are celebrating their military and they have no love for our own.
That's interesting, I'm not gonna lie.
The U.S. military has a long history of genocide.
What about the Hamas's military? Do you think they're genocidal?
I don't know why it matters.
Well, that's our show. God bless America and not Hamas.
I think this clip is really telling on a number of fronts. The first thing here is for those that say, well, I hate the American military, but yeah, I like Hamas. The hypocrisy there is so blatant. It reminds me a bit of how we saw those cheering for the October 7th attack. And then suddenly, weeks later, they say, ceasefire now, we just want peace, we want peace. And then, when Iran launches 300 drones and missiles to Israel, they start cheering it. So, is this really about them just wanting peace? Or justice? Did that guy who was being interviewed about the Jews and how Hamas feels about the Jews, does he want justice for them? Or is this already selective? Is this already based on a moral compass that is utterly skewed, that's utterly perverse, that's basically being driven by a far left progressive agenda that demonizes Israel at all costs? The good thing is, though, that what we saw among these interviewees was less hatred and more just ignorance, sheer ignorance. They're like, oh, I don't know, didn't the Jews take it from the Palestinians, the land? Actually, no. This is our ancient indigenous God-given homeland of 3,000 years. There's so much ignorance, so much inability to comprehend just basic facts, or at least unwillingness to. And so that can also be a point of hope, I think, because sometimes the hatred of the past was rooted in far deeper ideological constructs, whereas I think quite a bit of what we're seeing is just pure ignorance. They just go along with what they hear. But that can be a good thing, because if people are prepared to just open their eyes just a little bit, and if others, including hopefully people that are watching this show, are prepared to try and speak out and create a level of critical mass where we go over the level of enough support to create real change and influence those who are so fickle and really don't know that much, then actually we could be looking at a very different situation. The fact is, there's just a huge amount of insanity today, a huge amount of ignorance, And it's in some ways pretty unprecedented, the levels of ignorance and the apathy people have for knowing the truth. But all of this, I think, is far easier to deal with if there can be enough people that can push the tide in a different direction. Enough people are prepared to open other people's eyes to the truth. So much of what we're seeing is people just going along with what they hear, going along with what they think is right. Yeah, free Palestine. Oh, I saw that on a bumper sticker somewhere. Well, if they can be that easily persuaded to a cause that they know nothing about, perhaps we do have the ability to turn the tide. Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.